Agartha. Empire of the Hollow Light Episode I. The Awakening in the Shadow of the Eternal Himalayas, where the winds whispered secrets older than stone. There stood a monastery cloaked in snow and silence. Kadushan, but left at the gates on a night when thunder echoed beneath the earth and the sky itself shuddered. His eyes bore a light not seen in the others, so subtle that only those attuned to the hum of the earth would have noticed. But in the sacred chambers of Kadushan, the elders stirred. Scrolls fell from shelves, dust danced where it had not moved in 1,000 days, and in the depths of his sleep, Kellen heard a voice whisper through the marrow of the mountain. He was curious where others were silent, restless where others were still, and haunted by dreams of cities beneath stone, of glowing rivers and towers that sang. The last bastion of an ancient order sworn to guard mysteries too great for the surface world. There high above the clouds and untouched by time, monks moved with solemn grace through rituals unchanged for centuries. He did not sleep that night. He barely breathed. He had crossed a line no monk was meant to cross, but somehow he had not been stopped. Among them lived a boy, Kellen, not born of the order. The elder's face, worn by decades of stillness, now bore the weight of knowing. He said nothing at first, as if confirming something they had long feared. The gate stirs, and you must descend. Only sat beside Kellen in the cold light of morning, suspended in an atmosphere of shimmering energy. Trees with translucent leaves waved in unseen breezes. Beasts of wing and scale glided lazily above lakes of living light. Obelisks as tall as mountains stood singing in silence, and the air itself thrummed with life. Kellen's dreams were not dreams at all, and the pendant that had been left with him, a shard of black obsidian etched with a spiral, hanging at his neck. As he stepped forward, the glyphs pulsed, the stone groaned. Not machine with eyes like nebulae, and a voice that spoke not just in sound, but in thought, a sentinel of Agartha, till he reached a final threshold, an archway framed by pillars of crystal and humming with energy. The pendant burned against his chest. You are what was promised. The codex pulsed in his grip, and the gate, this living, breathing doorway, opened as if it had always known he would come. Is Agartha, the last light beneath your dying world. He saw memories not his own, the forging of the gates. The alliance with the surface, long forgotten, now awakened by the weakening of Earth's magnetic shield. The codex at his side now pulsed with his heartbeat. The pendant had fused to his chest. The gate was open, and others darker than Kellen had begun to move. And the wars that nearly unmade both worlds. Far beyond, seismic instruments twitched in panic, and deep in the abyss, where the pulse slept no longer, something vast and ancient opened its eyes, and you are its key. To touch it was to accept the burden of memory, sacrifice, and transformation. To reject it was to forget everything and return to the surface. What is this place? And the seal cracked open with a sigh that sounded almost like relief. His feet carried him to a sealed archway, the forbidden archive, guarded by inscriptions that pulsed faintly when he approached. No key, no chant. Before him stretched a skyless horizon, vast and glowing. A new world, under the world. The hollow light chose you.
Damn.
And now you must choose in return. Agartha. Pain lanced through every bone. Visions struck him like lightning, of cities burning, of thrones broken, of stars dying and being born. The monks gathered as Kellen was brought to the Echo Cavern, a vast underground maw sealed by 9 glyphs older than language, past veins of crystal that glowed with inner fire, and caverns that whispered stories from walls that remembered. The deeper he went, the more the silence changed. It wasn't empty, it was waiting. The entrance had remained closed since the last surface war. The cost of opening it again was unknown. The stones simply parted, as though recognizing its own.
Ow.
The first tremor came at dawn. It is time, stronger, closer. The glyphs on the walls flared, and a voice echoed in his mind. That night, drawn by something he could not name, Kellen crept through ancient halls, lit only by moonlight. Inside, silence reigned, except for the slow beating of something deeper. Upon a pedestal of obsidian and crystal lay a single object, a book, though no ordinary one. Its cover shimmered like molten gold, and its pages rippled with symbols that shifted before his eyes. Somehow he understood them. The Codex of the Hollow Light had chosen him. The moment his fingers brushed its cover, a second tremor rippled through the mountain. The lumen bearer comes from surface breath, marked by dream and undying death. Beneath the crust, the gate shall rise. When stars align in bloodlit skies. Kellen staggered back, the codex in his arms, his mind ablaze. At dawn, Master Tenzir found him at the steps of the temple. "You were called," he finally said, in the echoing silence of the lower sanctum. Kellen approached, the codex in one hand. Darkness swallowed him whole. Downward he traveled, through winding tunnels that defied logic. Hours, maybe days. Past in that descent, he stepped through, and the world changed. Gone was the choking dark. Land masses floated above glowing chasms. Kellen fell to his knees, overwhelmed, and a voice greeted him, metallic yet warm. "Welcome, Lumen Bearer. I am Theros." The city has waited. He turned to see a figure of gold and silver, not man. "You are the first surface dweller in 1,000 cycles to cross the veil unbidden. You carry the codex and the obsidian seal." Kellen stammered, barely able to find words. "This," Theros said, gesturing to the horizon that shimmered with impossible color. He was taken to the obsidian circle, a chamber of mirrored black stone where visions danced like ghosts. Then came the warning. A darkness had begun to stir, the abyssal pulse, once sealed in the deep. "You were summoned not by accident," Theros said. Kellen was brought before the flame of Vril, a living fire that flickered not with heat, but memory. He reached out, his heart a storm, his mind ablaze. The moment his fingers touched the flame, light poured through him like a flood. And then, silence. When Kellen opened his eyes, they were glowing with the hollow light. Theros bowed. "It is done. The awakening has begun." Above, in the monastery now blanketed in stillness, Master Tenzir felt it. Kellen had stepped through the gate, and the world would never be the same again.